In action, all right. We're doing this crazy contraption because we're going to speak into this little thing here and not do that little lab deal. So, listen, guys, it's almost 5 o'clock. You've been here since, a while ago. This is our last one of the day. And we really appreciate everybody locking on. We know it's a lot. We've tried to figure out ways to have it not be so much and still have everything we need to do, and we haven't figured that out. These things used to go, I just want you to feel better. Some guys take these till like 10 o'clock at night. We're like, hey, we're West Coast. We ain't doing that. We're really working hard if we go past like 3. So here we are at 5. Anyway, this is my lovely wife, Elena.
Hello, hello, hello.
We have been married for 30 years last year. So she's stuck with me. And they said it wouldn't last. Yeah, like we got married and, we were both young, and then I got old and she's still young. But I thought, all right, so it's working for me. We have 3 sons, 24, 21, and some of you guys met our 16-year-old last night. So we've been in the middle of it. We met each other at a church in Long Beach that was a greenhouse for us. We were all in college ministry together, Elaine and I, and Eric, and many other people that we've done life with along the way. That church was kind to us. We looked, we learned, we led, we launched a ministry there. That's where they gave us a vision for church planting. I went down there to be, I wanted to go into music and wound up in ministry. My life changed and direction changed, and the best deal of all is I met Elena, and here we are. So we started our first church. We got married 3 months later, started seminary. We did seminary, working for both of us for FedEx, making everything work. While we were in the middle of seminary, we started gathering our church planting team. We planted a church in Huntington Beach, California in 1991. It turned 25 last year, still going in a facility, doing good things. We led that church for 8 years, and by God's grace, we launched some other people out, and there's churches going today, and granddaughter churches are going. God led us to the Northwest out of that. We started a church planting center, Northwest Church Planting. We got to be part of that in the beginning days of that. That's where I met Randy and Micah and everybody up there, and then God called us back to Southern California. We came to this town not knowing anybody, really. We knew one person. Our district guy now, Bill Malik, was a parachute drop. So when we talk about target and team, we were working on target and team. So we've been churches from 2 people, which was this one, to 4,000 or 5,000, which was the one on the Northwest, and everything in between. And along the way, we've learned lessons, as all of you have as well. So we want to talk about that with you today. And I think you're on, yeah, to tell us where we're going. So we're just going to go back and forth and,
Stop us if we need to. Well, my premise is that knowing what's likely to happen is a great stress reliever. I like to be prepared if I can. Now, of course, that doesn't make that you're not going to have problems just by being prepared. But I think that it helps for me to realize that some things are just part of life and they're just normal. So if you have teenagers, you're going to have a certain amount of difficulty. If you're going to have babies, you're going to have a lot of crying, so you're not surprised. And that helps me. But it also helps me to realize that there's so many joys and to be prepared for those too, because even the highs and lows, the fact that you have the highs and lows can be exhausting. It's not, if you've ever gone through a period of depression, at least you know what to expect. You're always depressed. It's like depression. Today, new day, depression. But if you're going up and down with trials, it can be exhausting. And I found that sometimes in church planting and ministry in general, one day can be a great joy. I'm made for this. This is amazing. I got to see the hand of God. And the next day can be equally devastating. But I guess that's part of life. So anyways, I came up with the analogy of a roller coaster because for me, a roller coaster can be super thrilling and also just frightening. So, and that's how sometimes I experienced ministry and church planting. So we're going to go through a few of those, and hopefully just by knowing that they're there, you will feel somewhat, oh, okay, I'm going through that thing that a lot of people go through. It's not just our church, because sometimes you think, oh, it's just us.
All right. Is it me?
I think you're going to do the first one.
All right.
Oh, well, you can do the beginning here.
Okay. Yeah. So your blanks, you see those?
Because we have blanks.
We have blanks, and we want to all feel good about those. So you know what's ahead.
Yeah, that helps.
Know the joys and tribulations.
Or trials.
The trials, the good, the bad, the ugly, and know that that's normal. So we're going to tag team, and we're going to go through. We have 8 in your notes, but I'm going to give you a bonus one. So we're going to have 9 roller coasters, and you can come up with your own too. Here's the point. Not all of these will resonate.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of these will resonate right now. They will all resonate at some point. But right now, you can kind of know where you are and maybe pick out 1 or 2. A lot of the guys are here. Some of us are here without spouses, but this would be a good thing probably just go talk about.
Mm-hmm. Just
knowing, hey, it's normal. Because if you find out, you think it's not normal and you find out you're discouraged, sometimes people check out. I'm off the script, but I just talked to Gary. Gary leads a ministry working with church planting couples, he and his wife, and people in ministry. You tell me, how many people a month step out of ministry in the United States? Every month, here comes. 1,800. And some of them get out because they just get so discouraged that they can't see the upside come again. Actually, Gary works with couples too, and I'd like to give some information to at some point. Maybe not today, but tomorrow to have that. Can we do that? Totally put you on the spot, but thank you. So 9 of them, okay? I don't know if what you have up here is what I'm going to say, but we'll work it all out. So here's the first one.
Oh, okay. They do the.
That is
slash.
okay. You can call that the pride, humility, but here's the bonus word. I call this the confidence roller coaster. These are in no particular order, but church planters, generally speaking, you have a certain level of self-confidence, right? You can do things. You can start things. That's how you're wired. That can be great, and that can be really detrimental. So I've kind of put it this way. I've had a lot of self-confidence, and then I've just gotten the crap kicked out of me from life and ministry and other times. And then I've had no confidence. Like, oh, what could I possibly do? Okay, Saul to Paul, you hear it? It's like, oh, geez. But that's when God really can come in and work. So I've gone from self-confidence to no confidence to God confidence finally, and I can do that daily. It seems like. It's not like you get it all figured out, but we go through that all the time, don't we? So the confidence roller coaster, which just goes up and down sometimes with our circumstances, and we feel it all the time. That's all I got to say about that. So that's pretty quick. Kind of proud of me right now. I'm very self-confident with it.
You got the next one.
I'm going to suck on the next one now. Oh, I have the next one too. See, I told you. Here's the next one. Call it the attendance roller coaster. Now, I know it's sometimes popular to say, well, we really don't count. But come on. Does anybody not count? You don't count. But you do count. Even if you don't take an actual count, you're going to go, and let's face it, sometimes if you go from, I don't care what the number is, let's make it 12. You could be 12 or 1,200 or 12, whatever you want. But the next week you're at 14. Suddenly you ride that baby out, and if you go like this and it's going exponential, by the next 3 months, you're going to be at 2,000 people. But it never works that way. So I found the attendance roller coaster to be either encouraging or discouraging, and it's very connected to the confidence roller coaster and what's God really working on. I've never gotten totally past that. I don't know if you guys are more spiritual than I am, so you probably have. But I just find it a roller coaster. Is that fair?
Yeah.
If nobody's showing up, or you see this, you think you ride that one out too. Like, we're going to be dead in 3 months. So I used to always think, who's going to show up on Sunday or whatever the
God,
day
you
is.
would ask this every Sunday. Do you think anybody's going to show up? I'm like,
I gotta get the real story.
Where was so-and-so?
yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
what do you
you
mean?
just messed with my head.
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay, straw poll. Anybody else do that? Come on. Anybody not do that? Or whatever. You don't do that, then God bless you. Okay.
Well,
Attendance.
I want to say about that is that it can depend too, not just what the actual attendance is at whatever function, but it also can just depend on where you are. Like one day you can say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to freak out about this anymore. I'm like in a really good space, and I'm really confident that, you know, whatever it is, and, you know, you're just in a really good head space. And then the next Sunday can come and you're like, I don't know, I just really think everything's going to fall apart. You know, so it just, sometimes it's even just nothing changed from one Sunday to the other, but just you changed.
Just our heads.
Yeah, so I found that was surprising.
When your spouse and kids start checking on it.
I'm not coming.
How do you do with that?
Yeah, I'm not coming.
Yeah, that's not easy either. Somebody just talked about that, saying they finally got to this place where the wife is saying to the husband, I don't want to go to your church,
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's face it, yeah, you're gonna have some of those too.
But then he said, I don't want to go either. So.
That's another conversation. Oh, Gary. All right.
Okay.
We talked about Sundays, but fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be a Sunday.
Yeah,
Make it whatever it is that you're doing. We tend to measure. It's okay to measure. You know, how many fish that fell into the boat that time? Remember? 153. Somebody counted. That's okay. But we have to do more than that, and it's a roller coaster. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Elena's going to take that.
Okay. One of my favorite signs is, please excuse a mess, but we live here, because I like to be organized, but sometimes life doesn't allow you to be organized. And something about the new church plant, as opposed to an established church, seems to be more disorganized in my eyes. And I think the established church often, it can appear to be well organized, established, and you know what to expect. Sometimes the organization roller coaster would drive me crazy. You've been there in any ministry, right? You just got your small group ministry going. You've got a play, you know, you've got the curriculum. You've got it figured out how it's going to work for your church. And then your key leader moves away. So that seemed to be more extreme, I guess, in the church plant, because I don't have 5 or 6 to choose from. I got one key leader and they just moved. So sometimes that roller coaster of finally getting something organized, the welcoming ministry, the leadership path, the women's ministry, whatever, seemed to fall into place, and I'd get jazzed, and then maybe something would happen. So I don't know. Can you relate, right? You get your hopes up and you think everything's going to be fine. The fact is, it's just hardly ever very stable for very, very long. And learning to cope with that, learning to be okay with it, and to not throw up your hands and, you know, I'm just not going to try anymore. Yeah, I mean, that it's normal. Again, it's just like, I'm not the only church that's dealing with this. And of course, this is difficult. Anyways, so that one threw me a lot, because especially in our scenario, we would be setting up on Sunday mornings in facilities that were rented. And so there was a lot of visual things that I wanted to appear welcoming and organized, ready for our guests. And oftentimes those things couldn't happen, but they were no fault of my own. And I didn't have control over every little thing. So it would drive me bananas. And then the next one, right? We're going moving on? Yeah,
I think I'll do that one. And here's the other side of organization. By God's grace, the churches we planted, God, to some degree, honored our plans. He doesn't always. He did things we totally didn't expect, but we wanted to reach out to the community, and even in this church, it was a new community. A lot of people here didn't have community, so people came pretty quick. We just threw a service out on a Christmas Eve and just threw it out there. We were kind of printing our own stuff and rented a facility, and